You know, you really can't make this stuff up. When it comes down to the gaming industry lately, they've been going on this binge about all digital and stuff. And to be quite frank with you, amongst PC gamers, we've accepted our fate. Just give me a second. I'm just going to grab something very quickly for you. So, I know sometimes we talk about things being an all digital hellscape or whatever it is. And I don't even know if you can hear me at this point in time. But I just thought it'd be pretty cool if I grabbed and spoke about a few different things. And the reason being is, when it comes down to PC gaming, I don't even know if you can hear me at this point in time, but something cool that I came across lately in my physical gaming collection is that you see, when it comes down to physical games, I buy it across the board. It doesn't matter whether it's on PC, Nintendo Switch. I'm not loyal to any particular platform as far as physical games go. I am loyal when it comes down to digital, however, primarily to the PC platform, basically being that it is an open ecosystem. It's not a closed or locked down one where I'm forced to obey the rules of effectively corporations that don't seek anything better than, well, giving the executives a nice bonus at the end of the year or on a monthly basis. Now, this is Halo 2. I'm from South Africa. This game never came here, and I've only seen it once in my life. I was an idiot and I didn't purchase it, and it has slipped through my fingers. But this is the PC version that I was able to find. Now, the original Xbox One never came here because we never had Xbox in South Africa. Xbox 360 was our first Microsoft console. So I'm able to play that on PC physically without having to spend any extra money. I paid $2 for that, by the way. I own this thing. I can do whatever I want with it. Now, it's got games for Windows Live. I don't know what that's going to happen, what sort of effect that's going to have on it, but either way, I can get this thing working, even if I can eliminate Windows Live to some extent. Then there's Matrix, the Path of Neo. This is something that's on a PlayStation 2, also a physical PC game, and I can do whatever I want with it. Then we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Very old game. This one comes in a big box. I paid a little bit more than a dollar for it. And I absolutely love this version of the game. Not in the best condition, but it has this cool CD jewel case with the CD inside. Now, the reason why I'm showing you these physical games is because, to some extent, you would think that when you own a physical game, it's yours to keep. You can do what you want with it. Get rid of it, sell it off, do whatever. In the case of Xbox, that's a no. So, the reason why we are going on this tangent is because of what happened over the past weekend. You see, PSN experienced an outage. Everybody knew about that. Sony, as always, isn't very transparent on what happened, but we know that it was obviously probably some sort of internal system failure, probably a security threat of some kind, or something just where they were negligent and it went down. With Microsoft Xbox, to some extent, they are slightly more transparent, but what's alarming about this is when it went down, it wasn't a situation whereby it was just the digital store that was inaccessible and Xbox Live and online play. No. Physical games. Like I showed you here, these physical games, I could pop them into my PC now without an internet connection and I'm done and I'm good. Obviously, I don't have a modern day physical game because they don't really exist anymore. But even with a digital game, if Steam were to go offline, GOG were to go offline, as long as the game is downloaded onto your hard drive, you can access it. Now, in some cases, there are exceptions. I think Mortal Kombat 11 is one of them. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it still is, but I remember at one point I was logged out for 3 months. When I tried to log back in, it had to have an internet connection to verify that the game was mine. That was the only game in my Steam library that's ever done that. I don't know if the rest of them do that or not. But I can play all of my physical games on my own, do whatever I want with them. With Xbox, you can't do that apparently when their servers go down, when their system goes down. Somehow, a physical disc is tied to an online service that requires authentication. I want you to understand this is astronomically messed up in the sense that from 2013, they were shat on for games having to be online all the time and that the games were tied to your console, even though you had a physical copy of it. PlayStation destroyed them for that. And Xbox has never recovered ever since. For 13 years or so, they've just been at the back end of it. And it's all their fault. And now they're going to do something like this. But apparently, they are looking into it and they're going to try and sort things out. Now, this is coming from Xbox Chief Technical Officer Scott Van Vliet. Did just that, offering some information on what happened and what Microsoft is doing to prevent similar outages in a lengthy post on X. Van Vliet began by saying that services were restored at 2:30 p.m. on Monday. The cause of the issue, according to CTO, was a licensing service that sits outside Xbox, but which Xbox depends on. This is where it becomes a bit more alarming. Somehow, a licensing service from outside is intervening in this particular ecosystem. It's not Xbox's fault. It's an outside third-party licensing service, which doesn't make any sense. Why on earth would you need a third-party service to authenticate a disk to verify if you own the disk? It doesn't make any sense. When you had a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, even an Xbox 360, you'd put the disk in without an internet connection and call it a day. What the hell happened now? What has changed so much that you can't do that anymore? Now, I can understand some games are not on the disc as much as you have a physical disc. Doom the Dark Ages is one of them. It's just a little shortcut and it takes you online. Waste of a Blu-ray disc in my opinion. But obviously that was just a lazy way of putting it out there and also their way of controlling what you own effectively. But looking at this third-party service, they probably are selling your data. They probably are watching you somehow, looking at your spending habits and whatever else you do to try and gain more control over you, because that's what it is all about ultimately. Control and data. They use that to farm you, and then they maybe create AI versions of us somewhere and delete all of us off the planet. I don't know. Now, it also affected several of our publishing and store partners who depend on those same systems, which is why some of us saw issues in specific games and not others, Van Vliet added. Once the teams identified the outage, the failing service was isolated and the engineers shifted traffic to non-affected parts of the system while the team worked on finding the root cause. Van Vliet didn't say whether the root cause had been identified, but they did confirm Xbox is running a full post-incident review. Nice, at least they have something to give back to the community or to the customer. Obviously, faith in Xbox and Microsoft has been waning quite a bit. They've just hit one blunder after another, and to have some level of communication, I guess, is nice. I care less about the one-line root cause and more about the real questions. Why a failure in one service was able to take down this much? Why recovery took as long as it did? And what we changed so a single point of failure, forgive me, I'm shivering, the point of failure can't ruin your night again, the CTO continued. We're in the middle of winter here, so my butt is frozen. And I'm shivering right now. That means hardening the dependencies underneath sign-in and game launch, improving how we detect and contain this class of failure, and begin faster and clearer with you when something breaks. Here's the thing. Physical games shouldn't be affected at all. I don't understand why they need to authenticate a physical game. The disc itself is a Blu-ray disc. The system needs to be able to authenticate whether this is a backup copy of a disc or a physical original disc. And maybe there's something out there that Xbox doesn't want us to know about their physical games. Maybe they don't have the security type of check on the hardware or is capable of doing it, so they hand it over to some third-party system service, whatever it is. It doesn't make any sense. The transparency is part of a larger plan to share more about what the various Xbox teams are working on with the community over the coming weeks. You'll hear more from us about our services, our platform, and the work we're doing to make Xbox better, the CTO added. The last few days have called into question the industry shift to an all-digital future, seemingly the result of cosmic alignment. PlayStation also suffered as PlayStation Network outage days earlier, and that is something which obviously PlayStation seems to be frequently going through. They've done it like 10 times already, I don't know, maybe longer than that. The response was especially illustrative of why players lack trust in these digital-only systems, and particularly in the wake of Sony's decision to end production of physical discs. I am not against digital in most cases. There are a few exceptions. The PlayStation or video game console ones are that exception. The reason being is I'm a video game collector, and whenever it came down to collecting video games, PC was never the platform to go to for me personally. As much as I have like about 200 or so physical PC games, I don't believe that PC was that one, because on PC, a lot of games had a one-time use serial key if you had to get a Steam account for it or some other online service, and you just had a paperweight effectively. Alternatively, if you lost a serial key, you basically just had a paperweight yet again. And disk drives are dying out left and right. I can't remember the last time I've seen a new one for sale. It's sort of like a rare item in this day and age when you go to any computer store out there. So I can understand it. Now, Blu-rays, movies still get published onto Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, so I think they're just trying to kill that off as well. Perhaps, maybe. They don't want you to physically own your movies. I mean, that way they can bill you for it and take it away like Sony has been doing. And then tell you, look, tough man, that's the end of the matter for you. You know what? Pay for it on a different service if you want to watch those movies again. That might just be the plan, to keep you in this perpetual cycle of paying for the same item over and over. And whenever they get unhappy about it or if licensing falls through, they can just take it away from you and tell you never owned it. But there's another platform where you can get it from. And if you like the stuff so much, you can go to that platform and get it from there. I mean, it seems like a win-win situation if you're just the seller and a distributor. The customer is one who loses it at the end of the day. Now, many have been calling for the company to reverse this decision. PlayStation is not going to reverse that decision. As far as physical disc production goes, I doubt that they're going to end it. It'll probably take some sort of third-party intervention of some kind to get it done, whereby they force physical. And even then, Sony could quite easily say, stuff you, I'm not making a physical drive for my console, you can jump off the cliff. Now, my thing about all of this is, if we are relying so much on this digital future, and if this online service is something that's supposed to be so good, why is it that it's failing so badly right now? If you are announcing an all-digital future, surely you would have paved the way for that by building a strong foundation in what is already a test bed for this type of online future. Think about it logically. Right now, not everybody is online. Not everybody is forced to go digital. Right now, physical is still an option. On PlayStation, those who go physical to some extent have limited access to those games. On Xbox, they're supposed to have it, but they clearly don't. When everything goes online, those servers are going to be flooded with how many ever players there are supposed to be in the world on these platforms. What are these companies going to do to maintain those systems or to even get those things working if they can't do it now, when digital, compared to what it's going to be in the next 5 years, is probably still in its baby phases? Yes, we download, yes, we play online, but not to the extent that they want us to, and not to the extent that they intend to have occur in the future in the next 5 years. And those questions all boil down to us as the customer to ask ourselves, are we fine with this? And who's going to give us the best deal? Whoever gives us the best deal as far as ownership is concerned and reliability and access, those are the people you'd want to support. And my opinion to you is, and I'm the same as well, don't be loyal to any particular thing or company or corporation unless it's benefiting you to some extent. Unless they are giving you the best service, the best value for money, reliability and security all in one. So far, none of them do that. You got to choose the lesser of two evils, or how many ever evils. I think the lesser of all of them is Steam. They've got some of the best support I've ever seen. And, they don't really tolerate much when it comes down to things being stolen or hacked or whatever. They do their best. And yes, they've had some hiccups, but ultimately, they had 2 decades to get this thing right. At the beginning, nobody liked it. I remember when I worked in retail, good God, we used to sell these physical games. Skyrim was one of them. You had to have a Steam account to install it. And people would purchase this thing. They'd be like, they'd come back and like, I need a Steam account to install this thing. I don't want it. But I'm guessing that some people probably just stole the keys and they got it downloaded anyway and they returned the disc because they don't need the disc for that. That's what I'm guessing happened in some cases. But with that being said, guys, I'm out of this video. Let me know what your thoughts on this whole situation. I know I just scratched the surface of it, but realistically speaking, if this is what our all digital future looks like on consoles, it's game over for them. PC is going to win. And trust me, you may think that PC is extremely expensive right now. Yes, it is. But I can tell you, you can play a long, long list of the PC library, like 10 years worth of video games for nothing in some cases. I've got a PC that I've built with parts that I fished out of a dumpster because they were so old that nobody wanted. And I'm playing games that are available on the PlayStation 4, like Dragon Ball Fighter Z at the moment, albeit at 720p low and a choppy 60 frames per second. But if it's free and it's capable of doing this, don't waste too much of money on these, what's going to effectively become a paperweight in the future. I mean, effectively, Xbox was a brick when this happened. A literal brick is what it became. You couldn't do anything with it. Absolutely unacceptable. With that being said, guys, I'm out of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Please do like, comment, subscribe, all that other fun stuff down below. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye. You take care of yourselves and you have a good one. See you next time.